Welcome to Talk Cosmos, the show where Sue Rose Minahan and her panel of guests bring you insightful conversations to awaken consciousness for soul growth. Come journey with us through astrology's energetic cycles and get ready to understand your path in the cosmic roots of the stars.
Hello, everybody. I'm Sue Minahan. Talk Cosmos. Today is Archetypal Symbols, and we're talking about the 28-degree Libra New Moon. It will be a tricky one. Libra looks at extremes. It wants to balance those extremes. It's easier said than done, but yet that's what this is about. It's trying to find out how are we weaving these archetypal, meaningful dimensions that add metaphysical reasons and ways to understand astrology. We are now ready to welcome Archetypal Symbols.
Synthesizing the new moon consciousness through archetypal Sabian symbols, numerology, lunar mansions, tarot, and astrology, all together illuminating a new moon vision story. This is your Archetypal Symbols panel.
I'm Sue Rose Minahan, founder of Talk Cosmos since 2018. I'm an evolutionary astrologer, consultant, speaker, writer, vibrational astrology student, Dwarf Planet University graduate, Kepler Astrology Toastmasters Club charter member. I have a fine arts music degree plus a certificate in jazz. I'm an artist, musician, and certified color energy life coach. Especially, I love mythology and esoteric philosophies.
I'm Elizabeth Liz Machette, a professional astrologer, intuitive, numerologist, and tarot reader. I'm a certified sacred healing counselor, providing nurturing, in-depth consultations for individuals and couples. I'm an author, blogger, speaker, and international Reiki master and teacher. I create safe space in which to explore the deeper patterns of your life, to clarify your current circumstances and help you find your best path forward.
And I'm Justin Crocodelsy, an archetypal Jyotish astrologer, yoga and meditation teacher, and author. I combine both Western ancient astrology and modern psychological astrology with Eastern Vedic astrology, and I specialize in predictive, electional, and karmic astrology for individuals and couples. I also do in-depth astrological research into arcane astrological concepts, focusing on the mystical, occult side of astrology.
Eleanor Roosevelt once said, "Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift." And that's why it's called the present. Hi, Liz and Justin. Yes, we're here together, and every time I hear that quote, I'm so glad that we included it because it's, yes, today is a gift.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me today.
Yeah.
It's good to be back talking about the new moon.
You know, it has been a while. It feels like it. Perhaps it's been the eclipse season. Perhaps that's why. And anyway, here we are. Let's dive in. It was 28 degrees. You know, we're starting 6 months of 28-degree new moons, which will be powerful. And last month, as I just indicated, it was a solar eclipse. You know, we're still, these seasons last a long time. But maybe a brief thoughts about unmasking reality versus karmic relations, because reality does relate strongly to karmic, you know, what's happening. Yes.
Well, there's definitely been a lot of changes since that last new moon for sure. And I've had to do a lot of readjustment. So
that's well, I'm sorry to hear that, or maybe I'm glad to, or however it is, I hope it's faring well. But my point that I'm thinking is that that's exactly what this sun moon is doing. It's in this tension of I have to remember this, a yod, as it's called, finger of God, and we'll see that. But it's with the sextile. In other words, that's the name of the game. Adjustments. Yeah. Thank you, Liz. In Libra, you know, Venus wants to see what's beautiful. And it can be deceived, I guess, by not understanding what is in front of it is truly beautiful. It has this mixed idea that, no, it's got to look this way. It's got to have that shape. It's got to have this viewpoint. It can be rather set, I think. Any thoughts? Anything you want to add here? Because it's always good. We have time to talk a little bit about Venus, because this is what the light is giving us, is this prism that is saying, what's your desires? Is it really fulfilling what makes your heart sing into its life? It's beautiful, that gives you harmony, that gives you some sense of joy. Or are we struggling? Everything I read about, I just picked up a book about Esther and, Hicks, because I was at the library volunteering, and it was sitting there for $1. And essentially, yes, we create. So there you go. We're creating. All right, we'll lead on. Time for intentions, always the new moon. I think this is a theme we present with every Talk Cosmos archetypal symbols. I know for the people that listen regularly, perhaps, but just to reflect on that process. And it's later on. It'll be on the 21st of October, because these are late degrees that we're working with. We've gone through the whole month. And I think the advantage might be, hey, now I got an idea what's out of balance. Now I have an idea about what relationship I need, what relationship with myself, because the world reflects yourself, whether you like it or not.
And then tensions, that the theme with Libra could be around relationships or bringing more balance and harmony into your life. That could be a theme to do your intentions with this new moon.
Absolutely. And we have, with that crescent, until really the sun will be in Scorpio. That will be the interesting part, because that's very transformational.
Well, and if you want to also think about setting intentions for this moon, if you're an Aries sun or Aries, or have anything in Aries, then this is like a full moon to you, and then if you have a Leo sun or a Sagittarius sun, then this moon is sextiling your signs. So that really leaves a level of creativity for Leos or Sagittarius. And if you're Cancer or Capricorn, this moon is squaring your natal sun. So it brings some element of needing change there with those.
Justin, that's fascinating. Yes. So those with Virgo would be a real aversion. It's
well,
not seen,
because
maybe,
Virgo and Scorpio are so close to this, then it's almost a semi-sextile or a semi-square that
okay.
Which is very short term. But if you think about intentions, you might want to think about how this moon is aspecting your natal sun.
Aha. Thank you. Tarot. Here I had made an error and it got corrected. Thank goodness. Thanks to Liz and her spiffy eye. So we have 2 arcana cards, because there's one for the sign Libra always, and one for the planet that is ruled, which happens to be Venus, of course. Venus rules Taurus and Libra, as we remember. And with that, justice, which really has everything to do about universal law and consequences of what really is universal truth. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And speak up, relate however you might find a moment here, because I'll just briefly mention it. And the Empress of Venus, femininity, that of course involves what? Creativity, abundance, fertility, but also with art, the beauty involved with it. Any thoughts there?
No, I think you did a good job, Sue. Thanks.
Okay. Numerology. Well, as much as I've kind of reviewed numerology out throughout the years, I happen to see something for 10. But as it's been reminded, it's really 1. So looking at this, 1 is still independence and it's still potential. It's leadership more though, and individualism. So maybe the two of you want to make some comments here about anything that you see.
Well, the 28, so the 2 is about polarity, and the 2 is also rules the moon, the number that corresponds with the moon. And then the 8, lots of times is our rewards that we receive from our hard work and efforts that we put forth. And that reduces down to a 10. So the 1 is about independence and it rules the sun. And the 0 is about infinite possibilities and it rules Pluto. And then when it goes down to a 1. So that's what I'm going to share. What about you, Justin?
No, I think you got it covered. You're the numerology expert, so I love listening to you talk about numerology. So
absolutely true. And what's so fascinating is that Pluto is at 1 degree right now. So interestingly, it combines that 0 and the 1. There's huge transformation. Maybe that's what we're all feeling. Maybe. I mean, gee, we're astrologers, but still life is what it is. And that reflection is always, and here I'm talking Libra. Libra is really the reflection sign because how we feel inside is what we get reflected and back and forth. But transformation is a process, especially after the eclipse. Very good thing.
And actually all the outer planets are really at 0 or 1 right now. Uranus is at 0, Neptune's at 0, Saturn actually just went back into Pisces, but it's really close to that 1 or 0. So all the outer planets, with the exception, of course, Jupiter, but from Saturn on out are playing around those anaretic and beginning of the zodiac degrees.
New thresholds. Yes, indeed. I'm glad to hear that. And they're retrograde too. I thought that's what you were going to mention. We're still at that season, I guess for other lack of saying it, where these outer planets they take a long time lasting in their retrograde. Pluto just went direct. So we're on a path, but we're repeating that path. We had a shadow path.
And it kind of reinforces that 10 energy, the 1 and the 0, because the 0 degree and the 1 degree, it's like those planets are just kind of getting the feel of what that new sign that they've joined, how they're going to move forward. And it's like still kind of trying different things and seeing which one feels good or fits and then to move forward. So to me, there's always a lot of change with that too, the 0 and 1 degree.
Yes. A certain amount of crisis, I would guess, too, with that. Anyway, we will go on. That's what we're hoping to mitigate is a bridge between those changes of crisis. Jyotish, lunar mansions and nakshatras. This is where Justin has his.
Yeah, the Jyotish. In the Jyotish, we have the lunar mansions, which are the portions of the sky that the moon or any planets go through at a time, and there's particular mythologies and meanings behind these sections of the sky. In this particular one, the sun and the moon are in a nakshatra or lunar mansion called Chitra, and it's in the 4th pada, which is ruled by water, of course, and this particular one's ruled by Scorpio. And this is called the Star of Opportunity. Now, something I want to mention here is that earlier we talked about, justice, the justice card, law and truth. And this actually is related to this lunar mansion here. There's a crossover or a complementary thing here. The basis above it is law and base below is truth. And the ruling planet here is Mars for this nakshatra. So this moon, the sun and moon will have an element or feeling almost Mars-like. And the ruling deity is Vishvakarma, which is, this deity is known as the celestial architect or the cosmic craftsman of the universe. And I need to kind of explain this. So when anybody has any planets in this nakshatra, they will probably tend to be somewhat more analytical a little bit, also very skillful. It has an engineering or design effect with this. So this sign is, or this nakshatra is related to like um, what do I want to say, making jewelry, or working with things that are skillful. And so the keyword theme for this, of course, is mysterious. This is in the fourth pada, and has an energy of skillfulness or engineering. And this also has the power, the Shakti power, is to accumulate good karma or merited life. So this, if you want to put it back to what we were talking about, the new moon intentions, this is a good new moon. If we look at favorable activities from a Jyotish standpoint, would be, designing anything or building anything, or getting something started that deals with any type of something that you have to put together, or even planning, or anything that takes any type of thinking around conceptual design or structure or engineering. So that's the nakshatra that the sun and moon are in this.
It offers quite a bit of hope whenever I see opportunity and the skill and actually to accumulate good karma. In other words, with work that is fortuitous. Yes, that's
right. And so if we think about this, again, it's Libra, and you're talking about relationships. This can be the time when we can improve things with our relationships, or anything that is around the theme of Libra.
Thank you, Justin. That's with the Sabian symbols. This story, it is a story. Each one is an imagery. Medium spiritualist Elsie Wheeler it created these really back in 1925, and they have deep meanings, and we'll go ahead with them, and we're going to do 3 of them and work first from the ascendant, and then the midheaven, and then we'll go to the sun and the moon. So it'll be a span of these 3 degrees. And as you can see in this case, there they are. It's going to be for the East Coast, because we always start ours here in the United States, there where our capital is, because it is a dynamic, continues to be dynamic energy here. So we are focusing on that. But so your location of your midheaven and ascendant would be different, because that is how when the sun rises every 2 hours, it shifts to another sign. And here it would be 9 degrees Scorpio for the ascendant and 16 degrees for the midheaven, which are square. And of course, the sun and the moon is 28 degrees of Libra. We'll begin with the ascendant at 9 degrees. So the past earlier degree, just to give you an idea of what was leading into this, was 8 degrees Scorpio, a calm lake bathed in moonlight, which relates very much to this. Well, I'll read it, but it's a quiet openness to higher inspiration. So there's that calm, that real thought of meditation, but it is needed in order to receive. We have to calm. It opens up that area. So let's find out what 9 degrees is, Liz.
Okay, 9 degrees Scorpio, a dentist at work, and overcoming the negative results. So I like that. And it's all about inventiveness, accomplishing something. So repairing something. Justin?
Yeah, and then of course the last one here, Scorpio, 10 degrees, is fellowships up, reunites old comrades, and the key word here is comradeship. So it's really about establishing and strengthening our links with those that we have a shared life experience with.
Yeah, it sounds very much like the nakshatra there. I was just thinking about the inventiveness, Liz, that you had brought your keyword there, and thinking of the skillfulness and the ability to make good karma. So it seems to be working together so far.
Yeah, preparing yourself with the calm of the moonlight, and then it's like you take a little meditation or a deep breath or go wash your hands, and then you can accomplish the work. And then, you have a relationship with somebody, because the dentist and the patient, so there's like that relationship there. So
Yes, getting ready for that drill. Or for instance, a crystal, which you showed us earlier there, Justin, where you are located. That's meditation or clearing. That's good. Yes, Liz. The midheaven is at 16 degrees Leo, where the sun is very strong and rules it, of course. So 15 degrees would be the past in Capricorn.
no, because it's supposed to be in Leo.
Oh, rat
Wrong
spook.
one up there.
I did.
And
well,
I don't
then
have my book right next to me to find it.
Why don't you? Yeah, if you got your book there, Liz.
I know I don't. It's in the other room.
Oh, I've got it. I've got mine here. Leo, let's do it. Oh, in fact, sometimes maybe. Okay, so it's 15 degrees, Leo. I've got 13. Okay, 15 degrees is a pageant with its spectacular floats. Moves along a street crowded with cheering people. And it's this more or less sensational release. Oh, they've got that today all over the United States. Of energies, dramatizing unconscious aspirations, both of our primitive and instinctual nature. And the key word here is demonstration. Boy, that's today.
And what's the next one?
Oh, thank you. Yes. The next one is a thunderstorm ended. All nature rejoices in brilliant sunshine, surge of life and love after a major crisis. And it's the joy and power of new beginnings.
Okay. That's right. That's always the 16. And what's the 17?
A volunteer church choir singing religious hymns. The feeling of togetherness unites men, women, and their dedication to a collective ideal. And the word is togetherness.
So have you noticed in the ascendant one and then this one, the last one deals with being together with others. The other one was comradeship. And this speaks back to the whole thing about relationships with this theme of the Libra. Of course, we know rules relationships, but I just thought I'd point that out.
Ah, yes. And very dynamic. I mean, it really is. It's surge of life and love and the feeling of togetherness. So after, what did we begin that with?
Well, in the new beginning, I like that the middle one was the new beginning. So that's perfect.
Oh, good. Let's find out what the new moon is then. Well, this one is 28 degrees, so we'll start with 27. Libra, an airplane sails high in the clear sky. Consciousness able to transcend. There's some clicking there. Is that you or me, or am I doing it? I hope not. Oh, well. A consciousness able to transcend conflicts and pressures of the personal life. Transcendence, realization. For that unity that goes back to that calm ocean or the calm moonlight, yes? And the good karma we're trying to invent on. Go ahead, Liz.
Okay, then Libra 28, the present degree, a man becoming aware of spiritual focus surrounding and assisting him. Realization on all levels of existence, that we're never alone, and community. So another reference to community or togetherness, and the key word is inner assurance. So that's
and then
beautiful.
And then the last one is mankind's vast and enduring effort to reach for knowledge, transferable from generation to generation. And here we see a deep sense of participation in and commitment to social processes which seek to bring all humans truth and greater life. So again, we have this conscious participation with others through all of our life experiences and stages that we go through.
Powerful.
So I think all of these have all talked about togetherness and working together. So I think it's like finding our community and is really, really important right now.
Well said. I agree.
Sorry, I
couldn't-
interrupted.
No, you
making
stated it better
amends.
than I could. You stated it
Yeah.
better than I could. That was excellent.
Exactly. And a consciousness, that's excellent, excellent. There is hope on the horizon. I love it. Oh my gosh. Well, we're right on time. In fact, we're a little ahead. This is Archetypal Symbols. We'll be back. We'll take a brief little getaway. We have Justin Crockett Elsie, and Elizabeth Liz Mouchette with me for this panel on the new moon for 28 degrees Libra. Thanks. While we take a break from this week's edition of Talk Cosmos, let's take a look at this cycle's archetype. We are currently in the Yang period of Libra, ruled dually by Venus. By leaving the lower hemisphere of the self, the energy of Libra enters the arena where the completed self meets the other than self to form a relationship based on partnership. As a cardinal air sign on the descendant angle, represented by the equinox of equal light, Libra's energy learns through comparison and relationships, with the intention to integrate duality and polarities.
Talk Cosmos brings insightful conversations to awaken consciousness for the soul growth with hour-long programs. Talk Cosmos weekly programs are also available to watch live on the Talk Cosmos YouTube channel and Facebook page. While you're there, make sure you click the like and subscribe buttons so you get the full Talk Cosmos experience. Or if you'd rather listen to the show archives with audio only, the entire podcast collection since 2018 is available on most podcast carriers. And to find out about upcoming programs, sign up for the newsletter at talkcosmos.com. So grab your coffee, tea, or kombucha and enjoy the show.
This is Martha Norwalk. Every Sunday morning, beginning at 9 a.m., thanks in part to the Ananda Institute of Living Yoga, we cover the world of animals. This week, October 26th, it's an encore presentation. Tune in to hear our last healing show with Dr. Nels and Linda Rasmussen. Together, they helped callers and their animal friends with emotional, behavioral, and physical issues, and you can receive a surrogate healing just by listening and following along with Linda's instructions. Hope you can join us. Martha Norwalk's Animal World, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. to noon, right here on Alternative Talk, AM 1150.
Get your daily dose of variety. Alternative Talk 1150.
Hi. Yes, Liz, let's begin with you. If you would tell us about your YouTube and what's currently coming up.
Well, I have a YouTube channel, and you can find me at Elizabeth Liz Mouchette. I have a show called the Astrology Star Sisters, and Sue joins me occasionally there, but a variety of different ladies that join me, and we do shows, and I have a good archive, and Justin joins me for a few shows, and then I have some other things, and there's 1 to 3 shows a week that you can watch on my channel.
Whew.
Thank you.
That's pretty intense. 1 to 3 shows. Kudos to you. That's fantastic. Justin, and yourself.
Yeah, so you can, best way to get a hold of me is through my email, and I also have a YouTube channel, and I also write a weekly horoscope for the Port Townsend Leader here out in the Pacific Northwest here, and I'm also presenting a lunch lecture talk at the upcoming UAC conference next year. So just a few things. It's just the best way to get a hold of me is through my email.
Excellent. So one can just Google Port Townsend Leader and find that horoscope. That's very
and it's really good. So check it out.
Thanks.
I bet it is. No doubt. I believe it. And for Talk Cosmos, we have coming up always, again, the weekly ideas of the phases for the new moon. And you might check the one about, and it should be, I thought I changed it. Darn it. It's 29 degrees cosmic message. Anyway, there was one about that. But sometimes me and the universe, hello, universe, let's get it together. Anyway, and there was always one about the equinox. It's a whole message is about vibrational energies that are going on for the whole season. Very powerful information. 28 degrees Libra New Moon, karmic relationships happening in a few days. which just astounds me, that it's so late in the month. 21st of October. And here in this, for Eastern time, it'll be in the morning, 8 a.m., 8:24, 55 minutes, almost 8:25, you could say, in the morning. This particular chart just shows how that new moon is being affected. And really, as you can see, just like last month, every aspect is really involved in a bigger pattern that we'll be discussing. But it is quite engaged. We could say that. It has some action-oriented. That's the red. Anything in red is action. There's a couple of squares and an opposition that are important. And then also there is the most telling, a yod. So this is not a flowing energy with the sun and moon as far as the basic aspects are involved. This is going to take work, which I think works with that idea that there's opportunity, and it is Mars, because it's ruled by Mars. I mean, energy, by any sense of the imagination, is somewhere getting to where our mojo and planet, Mars, is resting. And Mars happens to be, also, I hadn't mentioned it, but conjunct exactly with Mercury, which really means we're speaking deeply. It can be potent, potent thought.
Well, and with the moon making squares, opposition, and quincunx to other planets in the chart, it's causing, or it's a little bit of friction. And so putting the effort in to adjust what needs to be adjusted to make things run more smoothly. So that just kind of goes with this new moon coming up. It's a little bit of work, unfortunately, or fortunately.
Yeah. If you can muster up the courage to do that, that's so true. Yep.
Well, just a kind of a note here, that it is the one thing that jumps out to me about this snapshot of these particular aspects on this chart is the sun and moon squaring Jupiter. I think that is it, because Jupiter's in Cancer, represents family relation. We were talking about those Sabian symbols, talking about group structure or family, more around individual relationships and more around a group structure relationship. And if we see both the Cancer is about the tribe or family, and then of course it is squaring those first degrees of Aquarius. For the rest of Aquarius, it'll be triangulating. But with Pluto there, that also is in the sign that represents group communication. So I think this really highlights the Sabians that was talking about, really paying attention to our relationships in the family of humanity. Whether it's the groups we associate with, or acquaintances, or our family.
So important, both of your feedback here. And I'm noticing the opposition with Eris, who wants inclusivity. And I think for Libra, you can feel like you're excluded, but really, what are you excluding? Is it yourself? And that means you have to heal something within yourself. And in that process, it is also looking at Mars, but it is an interesting dialogue between the Venus and Mars in this chart.
Well, and I think also, when we bring in the energies between Aries and Libra, many times people are evaluating their sense of self versus the relationship. Do they get lost in a relationship, or do they stand out as an individual? And I think the fact that, as you're pointing out, that opposition with the Eris and Chiron, this moon can really kind of highlight power issues. And are we being recognized in that tribe, that family, that group as an individual, or are we standing out, or are we just blending in?
Good point.
This new moon is in the 12th house. So any of the work that you want to do behind the scenes or in private, so through meditation or writing, that's going to be very helpful.
I love it. And yes, all of that action that you're both speaking of, look at this. There is a lot of, it's not a grand square. I tried to think it was, but according to calculations, no. But there's T squares, meaning there's an apex planet, which happens to be the first one with the sun and the moon, would be that Jupiter that is also in that tension with, as we had just related, with Chiron and Eris wanting us to be all of us, all of me, that this famous song. And then the nodes with the hearth of Vesta, our directions, which way are we going with our ideas of inclusivity again, oh boy. But the sun and the moon, just relating to that, yep. The Pluto, as you were both mentioning, with that changing focus with the tribal clan of.
Well, and I think this also highlights, and I know Liz has a show coming up about this, about Hygeia is currently transiting through Cancer. So there's this something about the health of the tribe. We can all see what's going on in the world with the tribe. And so there's issues with the health of the tribe of humanity here. And I think that's highlighted also with the square with Hygeia and Neptune and Ceres there, is again highlighting that concept of, this is maybe the moon to really kind of think about who we're associating with and like Liz said, this is a great time to really focus on, I forget how she said it, focus on community and supportive relationships.
It is nurturing. That Ceres and Neptune really wants to nurture. We still have Neptune in Aries. It doesn't quite go back into Pisces, and then it stays there a little longer than Saturn because they are going to conjunct. Go ahead.
Hygeia is out of bounds and has been out of bounds and will be out of bounds for a while. So it really emphasizes that, how we fit in with family or community. And 2 of these T squares are in cardinal and one's mutable. So cardinal is, about change and beginning something new. And that mutable is, about finishing something up. Let's bring something to a close and conclusion.
Yeah. And I think it also indicates this yod, the finger of God pattern that is adjustments. We have an apex that just doesn't match with the energies that are connecting. And that's, people can read that. But we have 2 of them. One of them is, one focal point is that sun moon, and the other one is Hygeia, just as you're mentioning. And so it truly is a very difficult, and Hygeia is also toxicity. Another code word for it is toxicity. What is toxic versus the health, the well-being of the whole emotional state that you're bringing up very clearly. And interestingly, it is looking exactly back to that sun and moon, because it's in Cancer, as we've all reminded. So it's synergetic, you could say, because that connection that has been going on for months and months and will for an extended period of time for the next year between the outer planets that are just all entering their new signs. Uranus, of breaking the pattern, of initiating the moment, and of Neptune, that is the cosmic all of the womb of life, of the mysterious, along with Saturn of boundaries and the limits of life for structure. They're working together, but this dear moon and sun looking to, and Hygeia is going, you know what? You ain't got it right. You got to make some changes.
The yod with the sun and moon, the moon will move on in a few hours after the new moon on the 21st, which I believe is on Tuesday. And so that only lasts a day or two. But the one with Hygeia, Juno and Pallas Athena, the asteroids, is going to last a little longer.
Yes. Their cycles much longer, 300 years or something like that. So they stay in that sign for a long period. Good point. But a new moon still is that seed point. So therefore, this energy, and that you're right, it's transitory and very much so. But why are we even looking at it? Because it's saying, oops, this is the start. This is your little seed. Take what you need and plant it. And it could be from the eclipse because, it takes a seed from the... Yes, go ahead, Justin.
Well, no, and I was going to say at the end of the day, the bottom line here is because they're quincunxes, there's something we have to bring back into balance.
Mm-hmm. Libra is saying it. Yep. Balance with ourselves.
Quincunx is about an inconjunct is an imbalance between those points. So, we're having to bring in the energies of Uranus and Saturn into balance with relationships.
And looking at Hygeia, since you're both, reminding us of this, it's needing to work with Juno, which is everything about relationships but it's our belief systems. Like what supports that pattern of our beliefs, philosophies, could be religion for some, law, everything that's Jupiterian, Sagittarius, but then also the transformational idea of, because, well, not so much Pluto, but really Pallas Athena, that's our strategy. And that is with, again, going back to the networks, looking at the community. So, yeah.
The health of our relationships and make a new plan.
Yep, that's it. Thank you. Well, we have a Thor's hammer, and this is another focal point. But this time it's a driving energy that really says, change, baby, change. And it starts with a square that's action right from the beginning. And then it's a super duper change. It's a square and a half, 135 degrees sesquiquadrate. What do we have here? We have this beautiful conjunction between Mars, our mojo, ruling one of the co-rulers, the original traditional ruler of Mars, not of Mars, of Scorpio, thank you, along with Hermes, the psychopomp that can go down to Hades, along where Pluto also resides, co-ruling. And they have a lot to say when they connect. And it's working with toxicity, purity, Hygeia, and again, that nurturing sense. What's nurturing us? What's the truth? What's the truth? That's what Neptune wants more than anything.
Well, that whole conjunction between, and I think this is something just for people to be aware of, especially if you're Scorpio or you're Taurus, because there's an opposition there, or a conjunction if you're Scorpio. But that Mars conjunct Mercury and Scorpio can be very assertive with communications, very, very direct and assertive with communications, even biting to a certain extent, if it goes to an extreme there. So, I think this highlights some sense of where communications can be very powerful right now, and something to be careful of, because it is a Thor's hammer with that Hygeia and Neptune. And so I think for me, there's a little bit of a theme here about our communications with others and how the emotions play out and how we assert ourselves communications wise, that it doesn't hurt others emotionally. And with that.
It is true, because emotions strongly, like anger of any sort, is generally a destructive. It's desired to eliminate something. So one needs to, like a surgeon, do sutures, stitch it back up a little bit, put some ointment on it, put a nice Band-Aid on it, say, let's give
it's
a
good
rest.
good time to start something new when it comes to communications as well, with Mars Mercury conjunct.
Well, with this Horse Hammer, the Hygeia Square series pointing to that Mars Mercury, it's like, be careful with your words, because Ceres is about grief and our hurt, or how we're nurtured. So you could unintentionally say something that could be hurtful to somebody or not help them in their grief. So it's like, just be mindful of that.
Undoubtedly, particularly with Hygeia in Cancer, because it is an emotional moon, it's the emotions. And so it's taking accountability for all of it. But sometimes things have to be said, they have to be expressed, and things need to fall off the way they do. It's like, I have a relative who's an Aries, and I so admired, because for her, it's like sometimes it just falls off her back like a duck, with water off the back. I'm like, wow, because emotionally,
But that Mars and Mercury are in Scorpio, so they don't forget anything. They remember everything.
No, that's right. Yeah, I have. Yep, I understand. I think we all. Anyways, we're living with this now, and it's within our nation. And the idea of guilt doesn't get you very far, so you got to move on. You got to make opportunity and work for what it is that you want to reconstruct. So there you go. Here we have another pattern, another focal point, but this one is a constructive one, because it's taking what seems to be an opposition, which not seems, but is. I mean, just because they're opposition doesn't mean they have to fight. It's just that they're looking at things from a different way, which is very Libran. Libra looks at extremes. In fact, it can act in extremes. It can live one way and then switch gears and totally work the other way. So here we have, and what we have is that Mercury-Mars. So we have that Mercury-Mars that is really dynamic. It's in that Thor's hammer. It's pushing ahead, but it's also the salve that we need for the nodes between that, south node of Virgo that's really looking for improving things, but sometimes has to let go of some kind of detail involved or some way of organizing it or fixing. Sometimes it can't fix it all, and it has to let be just what is, that the Piscean North Node wants. But along with that, it's also in a grand trine. It's just amazing. And that's a water grand.
Yeah, that's amazing, that water grand.
I'm choking. I need one. Go ahead.
Jupiter in Cancer, Saturn in Pisces, and that Mars, Mercury in Scorpio. It's like, that's pretty dynamic, it's like Jupiter can help make things bigger. So if you're doing a writing project, maybe you want to do your memoir or something that you've grown through that could be very helpful for other people, this would be a really good time. And that Saturn can give you the discipline to get it written.
Oh, you're inspirational there, Liz.
Also, because this is the two malefics here, along with a benefactor, the Jupiter, but the malefics, Mars and Saturn, we have to pay attention to that. I think that with them aspecting one another, it's an easy flow of emotions, and an easy flow can be either for negative or positive here. And so this is, I think, again, highlights how we are communicating. And because emotions, this is, as I think you just said, Liz, emotions can be very powerful right now. And so it's really about some sense of balance there with this, because they could go over the top with Jupiter being in Cancer, along with the harshness of the two malefics, Saturn and Mars, aspecting with an easy flow. I mean, this could be like where a person just goes overboard with their emotions and really sets things off. So it's really about some sense of balance here as well. But again, if it's a good time, you could also accomplish some really powerful things.
Now, this is also globally, because it's not just the United States. The timing is such. We have our Scorpio rising. So this, wherever else a person is, but these planetary energetic themes are current. And we're, of course, soon moving into a very strong Scorpio season. I mean, this is just initiating, as I said, 6 months, always between the two eclipses. There will be a set of eclipses on this half of it, of the year. The degree stays the same, but it changes the sign. Right now, it's the balancing act the teeter-totter that, as we've expressed.
And
Well,
if
and
emotions rise too quickly, seek out somebody that can help you work through those if you need assistance.
Well, you might need more tools. It may be you need to ditch something. It may be you need to totally wipe the slate clean and start again. You can't sometimes salvage things, but hopefully, yes, things can be salvaged. And with the right communication that we've brought up and the right personal attention to what details need to be taken care of. Because I think that South Node is saying, look, maybe you're not attending to the right details. Maybe, you got to take personal accountability of things too. But I wouldn't just say, yeah, and that way you might need help from somebody else to work that, how to manage that, how to get the plate balanced, what to do. Justin, you were going to say something?
Oh.
Okay.
And then we have too many grand trines there, one with the outer planets that's been active for probably a year and is going to be continue to be for quite some time.
It
and
is.
then one with the asteroids Juno, Pallas, and Ceres. So we have a lot of activity in this new moon with the asteroids this time period. So that I find that very interesting.
And let's look at what they're saying, because we related this a little bit. I mean, I did when it was, but generally it's that nurturing, that strategy of nurturing with our partnerships, our alliances. Yep. There's a new strategy, and that helps, I think, with this. This is a constructive, if we put it that way, there's quite a bit of attention. Well, we have, interestingly, I added this at the end because the new moon starts Mercury. It's exactly on this date that the shadow path of Mercury that will be retrograde at 20 degrees Scorpio begins. And it goes all the way up to November 9th. It'll be that retrograde period. And then the entire path will be from, I think that's right. At any rate, we don't have it in front of us. So.
Well, I would definitely say that 2 days after this, this new moon, people should really even be more aware, because that moon will be in Scorpio, crossing over that Mars and Mercury, initiating even initiating things even stronger than what we've just talked about when that moon, and it'll be a short thing, of course, a short transit, but 2 days after this new moon, it'll be really powerful. People should really pay attention to that day with the moon in Scorpio on Mars and Mercury.
And I think, too, going back over what we've all talked about and remembering both of your emphases about the meditation, such as the moon, one of the Sabians with the moon. But Liz, I know you're talking about take a breath and meditate. But here we have Mercury, that's the cycle pump. Mercury, what is the messenger that goes into our subconscious, goes into the Hades, talks to the ancestors, talks to the guides, talks to the spirits, talks to all the archetypes, and comes back with information for yourself. And if we're willing and able, we could revise a path, course correct as we call it, or go deeper, like writing that book as you were mentioning, or that story, or that journaling, however it works.
Well, this new moon offers great opportunities in changing our relationship with others, our relationship with ourselves, our relationships with our community. So this is, to me, very exciting.
Potential, opportunity, right? Shitra, Nakshatra. Yeah. Is it now? It's not shit. It wasn't the Shitra. It's the
Chitra.
Shitra.
No,
sorry.
it's Chitra. Like Chitra.
Shitra.
Yeah,
Okay.
Chitra.
I think that is
Chitra.
my moon, as a matter of fact. Yeah, I've noticed that. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining the show. And thank you most especially to Elizabeth Liz Mouchette and Justin Crockett Elsie for taking the time out of your lives to join me today and conclude this message for our listeners to help their lives walk the path that we're all journeying in this collective family, where we do care about how we nurture ourselves and others. So
Thanks for having me, and I'll see you next month.
Oh, good.
It's good to be with both of you today, and I'll look forward to next month as well.
Thank you both. Now we'll lead on in your balance. Blessings.
Thank you for joining an insightful conversation on Talk Cosmos, the show where Sue Rose Minahan and her panel of guests awaken consciousness by connecting soul growth patterns with astrology's energetic cycles. Be sure to tune in next week, same time, same place, to continue your journey through the roots of the cosmic pathway.